Up, and we're going to change gears. Time for a lightning round. This is going to move quickly. Here's what we're going to do. The rules are simple. I'm going to ask you a topic, and then you're going to reply yes or no to whether you would make cuts to that department budget. Okay? Yes or no to making cuts to the department budget. So we have 8 of these. Mr. Treadwell, I'm going to ask you the first 4. You can respond first, and then after the 4th one, it'll go back to Mr. Dunleavy to answer first. Okay, Mr. Treadwell, to you, troopers.
No.
Mr. Dunleavy.
No.
Court system.
No.
Public education. Court system.
Court system, meet on Fridays. No.
No. Mr. Dunleavy?
No.
No. Public education.
Possibly more.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Mr. Dunleavy?
Not at this time.
No. That's a no. Okay. Medicaid. Yes or no? Mr. Treadwell?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Make it more efficient.
Yes or no? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, make it more efficient.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dunleavy, you can answer these questions first, first yes or no. Again, cutting these budgets, yes or no. Power cost equalization.
No.
Mr. Treadwell.
No, but, it's not
okay, that's a no
question.
Okay. Prisons.
Excuse me?
Prisons.
No.
No, no cuts. Okay. Mr. Treadwell?
That's one place where they have the...
Yes or no?
No for now.
No for now, okay. Pioneer homes. Mr. Dunleavy?
No for now.
No for now. Mr. Treadwell?
No for now.
University of Alaska. Cuts, yes or no? Mr. Dunleavy?
No for now.
No for now, okay. Mr. Treadwell?
We have to actually endow the University of Alaska with the land that
yes
Abraham Lincoln promised.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
I'll ask Senator Dunleavy. In January 2017, you, in an interview with the Juneau Empire, stated that the budget needed to be reduced another $1.1 billion. Recently, you participated a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in a live KTVA debate with me, Treadwell, and the question was asked of each of you: Would you cut this department? Would you cut education? Would you cut public safety? Would you cut health and social services? Each one of those, as you listed out nearly every department, you said no. So, could you tell us today where's that 1.1 billion cut you've been talking about so much? It fits on a bumper sticker, but I'm not sure where it comes from.
That's a good question. So, take a look at the form, and the way the questions were asked was yes or no. There was no in between, and even my opponent at the time, me, Treadwell, and I both looked at each other and said the question is kind of a boxed-in question. So let me address that. So when oil is at $26 a barrel, the governor was proposing, and I was making a list of the number of taxes. I can't list them all, to be honest with you. It was a fisheries tax, it was an income tax, it was a big income tax, it was a small income tax, it was a payroll tax, it was a tax. When we looked at the amount of money you would have to tax every man, woman, and child in the state of Alaska, that's everyone from the moment they're born to the moment before they die. If you're looking at 730,000 people, that would have been $4,100 per person to close that gap. That would have been catastrophic for the state of Alaska. What I had proposed at that time was reductions over 4 years to try and bring our expenditures in line with our revenues at that time. What the governor proposed, half the people in this room would have been moving south. We would have lost our economy. This would have been the most, I mentioned before, it's the most unstable place for investment. This would have been a place to run from, and there have been folks that have left Alaska. We've lost population because of what's occurred with the oil industry, but also with the instability in our state government. So the options between a $4,100 tax on every man, woman, and child was impossible. You had to reduce this budget. And as I mentioned before, there's no getting away from this. The operating budget at increases of $300 to $400 to $500 million a year is unsustainable. They talk about an unsustainable permanent fund and PFD. You keep increases at that rate, you will blow through the permanent fund in any form or fashion, and you will be taxed. And this place will be nothing more than a backwater and a receivership to the federal government. You've got to reduce this budget. You've got to contain this budget.
The last budget I think you voted for was about a $7.8 billion budget. When it came down into the 5s and the 4s, you voted against the budget. So, but my question was, this is a very recent conversation you had with the Juneau Empire, $1.1 billion as of 2017. And at that point, we had reduced the budget by $1.7 billion. So, reduced spending by $1.7 billion. So, I'm curious between 2017, January, and now when you have said, I'm just still not sure where you're going to cut the additional $1.1 billion out of the budget as the budget was on January 12th of 2017.
Flexibility? Thank you.
Sure.
You don't, today, that was when oil was at $26 a barrel, Governor. Today it's at $74 a barrel. Today it's at $74 a barrel. You don't need to cut $1 billion in today's environment. What we need to do is make sure that we get the budget down somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 billion, and then if we do that, we can sustain a budget growing at about $70, $80 million a year. But at $26 a barrel, your proposals of taxes would have destroyed the economy in the state of Alaska. We'd have a whole different Alaska. You had to look at reductions, and we still have to look at reductions today in capping the growth of that operating budget.
Governor, 30
The
more
price of oil in January 2017 was not $26. It was nowhere near that. So I still don't know the answer to your question. I'll continue to answer it on future forums, and maybe at some point we'll hear where that $1.1 billion out of the existing budget, where it's going to come from.